Science education has to do with the ability to communicate science to those people who are not members of the science community. Apparently, science education for sustainable development gives an equal opportunity to all involved in the educational process, enabling individuals to function on a micro scale. So the SDG, as can be seen, is if we are to resource the issue of quality education in sustainable development program entails providing adequate learning experience for young people in line with UNESCO goal. Re-engineering requires a systematic exploration of the way things are and the way they should be. It involves refining materials, problem, opportunity, strength, and evaluating possible solutions that take those issues into consideration and an integral part of what we do. The engineering the way science education is communicated would mean evaluation of the manner, the method, and the technique we employ in imputing this subject in our school in relation to our expected outcome. Apparently, sustainable development is development that meets the need of today without compromising the ability of children to meet their own needs. If we look at the sustainable development goal, it shows the attainment is majorly rooted in the learning of science and its concept. For example, actualizing goals 1 to 4, among others, clearly reveal the indispensable role of science education in the realization of goals of fighting poverty, food security, and nutrition, and promoting healthy living, as well as ensuring gender-friendly educational opportunity for all. The concept of digital learning, otherwise known as information technology, has science education as its root. In fact, our present conference is possible because of the germane effort of science and technology. And achieving such goals in Nigeria with science education, you realize the range of opportunity will be improved and to enable individual humans and community to achieve their aspiration and full potential over a period of time while maintaining the resilience of economic, social, and environmental system. And this is the basis for the 3 pillars of sustainability. However, this can be achieved in two ways. Number 1, human capital development. And number 2, infrastructural development. Development, human capital development has to do with aggressive teacher training that will begin, that goes beyond media hypes. But if we don't go beyond media hypes, we'll just be talking about training of teachers, training of educators on the pages of media, newspaper, and other media outfits, but nothing is on ground. Then government effort at supporting education has to be in line with best global practice. Number 3, there should be a skill development approach that we imbue our culture and way of life. Because what we have is imported. And once it is imported, it's difficult to adapt it to our present situation. That said, we also look at the fact that there is a gap, like what Dr. Ewuru mentioned recently, a huge gap between policy and research. So there should be, a way of creating a synergy between, technology between the government and the private sector. Research from the university don't find their way into our industry. Research from the various research institutes don't find their way into it. So there's no way of commercializing our research input. If not, we are blessed with so much human resources. It is for this reason that even when we go out as Nigerians, we excel outside because we are highly resilient. But right, in our country, no materials to work, no support for government. In fact, every policy of government start to say they are in the reverse gear. Policies that take us 30 years back instead of taking us forward. Then we are just full of motion without movement. When we go 30 years backward, we come back 20 years forward. We are still at one point. Motion everywhere, but no movement at all. So apparently, you realize now for the infrastructure development, there is also the need to be able to understand that we are highly backward in infrastructure. For example, I'm able to be part of this conference because I have to put on my personal generator. As I'm talking to you now in Zaria here, there is no petrol in the filling stations because of the problem we have from Lagos recently, which we are aware of. We have to buy fuel to power generator. We have to, get data, which everybody got in. No, no support from anywhere to be able to be part of the conference. And that is why you find that we are so backward in provision of infrastructure in school. Many years ago in the 80s, when we were in the university, we did our research under modernized equipment as at that time. But today, even those equipment have vanished from the university. The modern one we have cannot even, help, to open it. Besides, there is no finance for research. It's not adequate. It's either low or it is not there. I have data at time will not permit me to talk about. Besides, again, energy improvement for power generation is very poor. We keep increasing the price, the bill for electricity, but nothing to show for it. In fact, in Nigeria, we are paying for darkness, and funding for that institution is at lowest ebb. And so people live in a garbage in, garbage out. No knowledge, from the highest, can be enough for you to stand and be self-reliant. However, this is flawed with a number of challenges. Number one is challenging to obtain SDG in Nigeria with science education is no mean feat. There are challenges that are there with it and few of these provide leadership. Then number two, we have the challenge of adequate power supply. We also have, the challenge of education for self-reliance. Like I mentioned, when people go to school, they cannot come back and be on their own. I have been to countries, of the world, Israel in particular, where everybody who is in the school is thinking of how to be on his own after leaving university. But today, we keep showing up people from NYC, they enter into the job market. There's also the inadequate and moribund infrastructure in school. We are doing job, by CBT, but how many of the school, even government school, have a pool of a CBT center into the urban and rural area? None. And this is, we work against the attainment, and the attainment of science education. That is why there is the need for the engineering. Besides, again, we also have the low mental attitude. Because when you study under a low and unencouraged environment, when you come back, your mental attitude is so low, you cannot initiate something apparently. Then there is also the challenge of not harnessing technology for educational reform. We also have the teacher factor, the government policy, the cultural affiliation, and the finance, and so and the finance, to go with such, to mention, for this view. We find that when sustainable development is not, taken the way it should be, the implication is that we'll be inviting crisis like the time, because it is my view that it is only when sustainable development will not only satisfy the greed in the society at the expense of the suffering needy. If you do, you are inviting or inciting anarchy, like the type we have seen in the country in the last few weeks. Perhaps people's aspiration must be met within a given geographical entry over a sustained period of time. If that is not done, there will be crisis. And crisis will lead to destruction of infrastructure. And when this is done, you will see what has been hidden becomes revealed. You will hear billions of naira that have been lost owing to destruction. But where were those billions of naira, those billions of money, when there was culpable peace in the land? So these are the areas we need to look at for sustainability. We must wake up to the essence of science and get people up, and these are people will wake up and say this is where we are going. So to draw the curtain close in this presentation, I want to say that sustainable development will anchor on effective and quality leadership. And if we are to achieve SDG, science education, it requires a concerted effort of all and sundry through appropriate reform by creating an enabling environment for teaching and learning. Motivation is part of it. Motivation that go beyond radio, that go beyond media, that go beyond massaging the ego of teachers. Teachers' ego must development effort that we take the government of the day to stand on what they say. Since 2009, if I can remember, in the universities, an agreement has been signed, but who failed the agreement? It's those who sign the agreement that fail the agreement. They don't respect agreement. And if we must wake up to respecting agreement. Proper planning within limited project as well as developing a synergy between institution and the industrial world. People discover drugs. People discover machineries. Even the COVID-19 era, students, they do projects, they discover machinery to be able to take care of social distancing, take care of washing of hands, take care of this. But where is the government support? No machineries for agriculture. We keep saying food sufficiency. How will food sufficiency be done? We depend excessively on outside world. We don't even have a refinery in Nigeria again. One of the presenters was talking about the fact that we must build a refinery. Yes, we should do that. But where are our raw materials are being taken away, exported away, and given to us at exorbitant prices? It is even a sad development that we pay high, for fuel in a country that says you have fuel. And sometimes they even compare us with what they are paying in other countries. But are we earning what they are earning in other countries? And of course, if there's no synergy, then attaining SDG is going to be a mirage. But however, if that could be done and communicate from this conference, just like Vangela is on Facebook, which I personally will share to some government officials, let them understand that things must be done the right way if we are to get desired results. If we do this in the 19th century, I'm afraid we are going to get a 19th century result. Thank you.